Hey everyone, so let's talk a little bit about the Confederate flag. It's in the news all over the country. Flags are coming down, Confederate statues are coming down. This has been a slow burn since 2015 and the church shooting in was it South Carolina? When that black church was shot up by that white racist that I won't name. I know his name, I'm not going to say it. But this has been a slow burn since then. There was a jump of activity back then, and then now it's resurged again after the events in Charlottesville, Virginia, between the communists on the left and Antifa and the neo-Nazis and the KKK and the white supremacists on the right. At the Unite the Right rally. Now, first of all, I'd like to say that nobody there was of the right, okay? This Unite the Right rally was just a riot between communists and fascists, neither one of which exist on the right side of the political spectrum, okay? None of these people are conservatives. The alt-right does not have a conservative member among them. That said, this has caused a resurgence in the left in their attempts to erase Confederate history from the United States. Now, the flags are coming down, the statues are coming down, and they're coming down legally and illegally. There are city governments and state governments that are taking these things down, usually in the cloak of night, because they know that if they did it during the day, there would be more protests. And then there are rioters that are just knocking these things the fuck down, which is wrong, okay? Whatever your feelings are of Confederate statues and the Confederate flag, just knocking them the fuck down because you're pissed off is called vandalism. It's against the law, and you should go to jail. And we did see the woman that climbed up the ladder and helped to knock the Robert E. Lee statue down in, where was that, North Carolina or wherever. She went to jail. She was arrested. And that's good. She should be arrested because that's vandalism and it's against the law. Now, I am not going to sit here and say that anybody that flies a Confederate flag is a racist. Whether you fly it on your home, whether you fly it on your car, whether you drive around in a little General Lee 1969 Dodge Charger that you painted yourself in the garage, I don't care what you do on your own personal property, and I know that the Confederate flag has different meanings to different people. We get this, this heritage, not hate argument all the time, and for some people, it's true. For some people, they may not even have any relatives or ancestors that fought in the Civil War, but they did have ancestors that fought for the United States Army in World War II who had a Confederate flag on their tank. Or they may have had relatives and ancestors that fought in the Civil War, but not everybody that fought in the Civil War was pro-slavery. Robert E. Lee, the supreme commander of the Confederate Army, was an abolitionist. He did not believe in slavery. In fact, he was even courted by Abraham Lincoln originally to lead the Union Army. But because he was from Virginia and because he had a great sense of loyalty to his home state, he would not take up arms against Virginia, so he ended up joining the Confederacy. But he was an abolitionist. He wasn't fighting for slavery. Not every soldier that fought, that wore gray, was there for, protecting slavery or whatever nonsense. Now, that is why the Confederacy absolutely existed. The politicians of the time, and you can read this in their declarations of secession for every state that seceded. What was there, 7 of them? 11 something? I don't know. But every single one of them cited slavery as the principal reason, not the only reason, but the principal reason for secession. But those were the politicians. Most of the soldiers were drafted on both sides. The Union and the Confederacy were both conscripting soldiers, okay? So there were soldiers that were fighting, that were wearing gray, that were fighting for the Confederacy, that their only reason for being there was because they didn't want to be put in prison for dodging the draft or for refusing induction. Okay, and there were a lot of soldiers that were that way. So it's wrong to paint everybody that holds the Confederate flag in high esteem as a racist, because not everybody that physically took up arms and fought for the Confederacy was a racist. That said, the Confederacy was an insurrection against the United States. There is no way around that. It was an insurrection against the United States, and because of that, it has no business on any government property at all. And for a long time after the Civil War, people weren't flying the Confederate flag. For 100 years after the Civil War, people weren't flying the Confederate flag. Do you know what brought the Confederate flag back into prominence in the South? Segregation, the Civil Rights Movement, or more specifically, the white racist Democrats who were politicians in the South, who were governors and mayors and congressmen who opposed the segregation, or who opposed the integration of the South. They brought that flag back out. They started flying that flag again. They started putting it back up on state houses as a declaration of saying, no, we will not coexist with these people. So, yes, there is a great argument for very, non-racist reasons for somebody wanting to fly the Confederate flag. However, there is an equal number of absolutely racist reasons why people have flown that flag in the past. And none of that's important. None of that is really important. The fact is, it just doesn't belong on government property. And it doesn't belong on government property because, as I mentioned, the Confederacy was a rebellion, an insurrection against the United States. If you go to Germany, it's illegal to fly a Nazi flag anywhere in Germany. Anywhere in Germany, anywhere you go, it's illegal to fly a Nazi flag. Now, a lot of you may be saying, well, that's good, because the Nazis were the bad guys. True. The Confederacy were also the bad guys, folks. They were the bad guys, and they lost. Now, this is the United States of America. We have the Constitution. We have the First Amendment. Nobody should have their flag taken from them. Nobody should be thrown in jail for flying a Confederate flag. Everybody has the right to fly the Confederate flag on private property, not on public land, not on government land. It has no place. It does not belong. Now, if you hold the Confederate flag in high esteem, my advice to you is to take it down on your terms. My advice to you is to get with your governors and your mayors and your politicians, take that flag down and give it the respect that it needs. Give it the respectful retreat that you feel it deserves. Because if you don't do that, folks, these protesters, these rioters, these criminals, they're going to climb up there and rip it down and throw it on the ground and set it on fire. And I don't want to see that happen. I want to see the flag taken down, folded up into a nice, neat little triangle, and then locked away somewhere and given the honorable burial that it deserves. That's all I have today. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Hey, thanks for listening, and by all means, go check out my other channel, Till the Last Credit, where I talk about movies and entertainment, geek culture. I run that channel with 3 other great guys. I just do this for fun. You know, that's my profession as film critic. That's what I love to do. But this is just a hobby for me. Okay, so please go check out Till the Last Credit. We've got a great video up about Daniel Craig confirming that he will be in the next James Bond movie and that it will be his last. So go give that a listen. Thanks for listening and have a nice day.